Hey, Kyle's Wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's AEW Dynamite from August 31st, 2022, live from Chicago, Illinois. We're only 4 days away from one of the biggest events of the year, All Out, and we're 1 week removed from one of the most shocking world title matches in a long time when Jon Moxley unified the AEW world title in 3 minutes against a seemingly had returned way too soon CM Punk. So that was super interesting that happened last week, and I still can't quite believe that's what happened. But anyway, um, we'll see what happens. We're now 4 days away, and we don't know what the main event of All Out is. So tonight was everyone was looking forward to, and we are figuring by the end of the night we'll find out what the main event and the title match will be. How I couldn't quite figure out what the heck. How were they going to explain this? A lot of people seem to think that it was just going to lead to another CM Punk Jon Moxley match, but I was in my mind couldn't figure out a way that they would get out of explaining how CM Punk had just collapsed and lost in 3 minutes with seemingly returning from his broken foot too soon. So we'll see what they do with that, or if something else happens. There's rumors of MJF. There's rumors of Hangman Page. You never know. Like someone like Lance Archer could walk out of All Out with the world title. So I have no idea. I'm just expecting the unexpected. But we do have 4 matches scheduled for tonight on Rampage, meaning we might get another surprise match added because there's only 4 of them. Anyway, we might also find out the all-out main event, including in that 4 matches scheduled for tonight is the trios tournament semifinals between the Elite and United Empire, where 2 of the best wrestlers in the world will be in the same match, Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. It should be an amazing drama unfolding and a great match to watch. So the winning team of that moves on to All Out in the finals of the trios tournament against the winner of the live Rampage this Friday. Has the other semifinal, Dark Order against Best Friends. So we'll probably find out some other big matches for that live Rampage as well tonight. So there's a lot to look forward to. Last week, we did find out some terrible news that Thunder Rosa said she was out injured. She was not stripped of the title. We will have an interim women's title, and it will be crowned in a 4-way match at All Out this Sunday with Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida taking part of that 4-way match. So those 4 women will be in a tag team match against each other tonight with Toni Storm and Shida taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. So a big match to assert dominance before the big title match Sunday, which will be interesting to see if Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, the alliance between them, will be able to survive past the all-out title match where it's every woman for themselves. And they seem to be getting along better after Britt lost the title and took a vacation, but it all could come boiling out. Remember, for months, it looked like Jamie Hayter was having enough of Britt Baker. So Hayter might get a chance to attack Britt Baker in that 4-way. The big-time storylines going on there. Meanwhile, Toni Storm has to be the favorite to win the interim title. She was the number 1 ranked in the title match to begin with Thunder Rosa before the injury. But you never know what could happen. Any 4 of those women could walk out with the title at All Out and will take place in a tag team match tonight. Also scheduled for tonight on Dynamite is Bryan Danielson taking on Jake Hager, who attacked Bryan from last week from behind. So Bryan has to take on the Lionheart version of Chris Jericho at All Out. So Bryan Danielson will want to get through this match without taking too much damage against a much larger Jake Hager. So that's going to be interesting to find out how he gets out of that. Then only a few hours before Dynamite came out, it was announced not only will it be a 4-way tonight, so in this 4-way match tonight, it'll be Dante Martin, Rey Fenix, Wheeler Yuta, and Roosh, which already sounds like a great match. But that's not all, because those 4 men I just announced, Dante Martin, Rey Fenix, Wheeler Yuta, and Roosh, will be part of an 8-man casino ladder match at All Out. Joining them in that match Sunday will be Andrade El Idolo, Penta Obscuro, and Claudio Castagnoli, along with a Joker. So, wow, not only is there a lot of bad blood in that ladder match between Lucha Brothers and La Facción Ingobernables, but you've got 2 different Blackpool Combat members who hold, both of them, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, already hold ROH Gold. So they'll actually be against each other in that match. So that's interesting side story as well. But not only that, but the Joker will be there. So will it be a debut? Will it be a return? Will it be somebody getting a chance that we didn't expect that we'll all be excited about? I can't wait to find out who that Joker could be, and that ladder match should be great. But tonight we'll get a preview for it in a four-way match. So just with four matches announced, that leaves plenty of surprises for tonight. So let's see what happens. I was super excited to find out, especially what the main event and how they would get there, about going for a main event only 4 days before the pay-per-view, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. So I was really excited for this Dynamite. This week's episode starts with Wild Thing playing, of course, as Jon Moxley comes out through the crowd. He's holding on to the undisputed AEW World Championship belt. So here we go. It doesn't look like we'll have to wait long to find out what's going to happen for All Out. Big cheers from the Chicago crowd. They don't seemingly care that Moxley destroyed CM Punk last week. But when Moxley gets in the ring, a CM Punk chant does break out. So he's got plenty of fans here in CM Punk's hometown of Chicago. Jon Moxley gets on the microphone and says, "I know you love your boy, but they're still mopping him off the mat in Cleveland. Let's talk about it. I once said that CM Punk was the modern 60-minute man, but I still had 57 minutes left in me. Did you? When anyone gets in the ring with me, you got to face the heart and soul of AEW, and you'll find out real quickly what you're made of when I test them and I push them. Last week, CM Punk knew he was in trouble against me, and he started looking for a way out. So he folded into a ball to die, and champions never fold. So let me pause right there. That could definitely be something we were all thinking. So here's Jon Moxley saying that CM Punk wasn't as hurt as he thought. He was just being like, basically the fighting spirit inside of CM Punk was gone, and he just wanted out of that match. So that was interesting that Moxley said that. He continues saying that you have no idea how sorry that I am that CM Punk didn't turn out like any of us thought he would when he returned, but it didn't work out. I have zero sympathy for CM Punk because he has a fragile ego, a fragile body, a weak mind, and a weak spirit. But we move on. I have an open contract for a title match Sunday. It's already signed by me, so I'm just leaving it right here in the ring. Who knows who's going to sign it? Maybe somebody from New Japan, but whoever signs that, just remember before you step in the ring with me that I can out marathon, out sprint, out fight, and out wrestle you, and I'll give you, and I have fewer F's to give than anyone else. I am wrestling Jon Moxley will be hazard to your health. Whoever you are, you've been warned. So that's interesting right there. So let's take a stock of what we just opened Dynamite with. Jon Moxley saying that CM Punk wasn't hurt, that CM Punk was just scared and had the fighting spirit gone from him. Then we leave with an open contract sitting in the ring. I don't know why there wasn't a mad dash scramble of 30 people. So that part of the story is a little weird. Wouldn't you imagine that somebody like a QT Marshall would have been running the heck out there to go sign that world title match? So that part of the story is a little bit weird. That nobody just like automatic, like there wasn't 50 people running for the contract right away. So anyway, that's definitely one way to go about things. Let's see how this shakes out. So that was pretty good. I like that, regardless of the fact that like QT Marshall didn't run out and get the world title shot at All Out. But anyway, CM Punk maybe has a real reason to want to fight Moxley other than just the title, because that's some big time words right there saying you weren't hurt, you were scared, basically you wanted out of the match. So will it be CM Punk that signs it? Maybe MJF, Will Ospreay? What's going to happen? So Jon Moxley leaves, and then Ace Steel, who trained and is best friends and works as an official in AEW, he trained and is best friends with CM Punk. So Ace Steel comes down and he takes the contract, probably meaning that he's taking it to CM Punk. So it definitely at this point looks like it's going to be a rematch, and it was definitely a weird way to go about it. But let's see if it's made official before we talk about it anymore. Excalibur runs down the card now tonight and says that Bryan Danielson against Jake Hager will be next. Now in the back with with Tony Schiavone is Chris Jericho. So Jericho says the Lionheart versus the American Dragon at All Out, a dream match for most, but a nightmare match for one. And that's you, Danielson. Last week, you asked me who Stu and Owen Hart would choose between us. They might like your wrestling, but the way that I changed the game for so many decades, they'd be impressed. And then Daniel Garcia walks up and he apologizes and says that he's fully in support of the Jericho Appreciation Society. And then he says Jericho doesn't need any distractions to win and stuff like that. So we'll see how that plays out. Then Bryan Danielson comes out to the ring. William Regal will go on commentary. Jake Hager now comes out and Jericho goes on commentary. So this should be a good one. I was expecting a good one because Bryan Danielson's in the ring. So I was already expecting something good. And yeah, it starts out really good. Both men look fired up. And it looks like right away Jake Hager wants to make it a striking exchange, which would favor him. He's got the reach advantage being the much larger athlete here. So Danielson then throws some leg kicks to keep him away. He knows what to do in this situation. A little kickboxing or MMA striking goes out here to start the match. Danielson hits another leg kick to keep Hager away. Then Danielson goes for a leg, but Hager counters it and hits some strikes in the corner, then hitting a big Beal. Danielson then counters the next attack, but Hager picks him up again, showing his power advantage. Bryan applies a guillotine, however, and then Hager powers out. Danielson knocks Hager out of the ring, then dives onto him. Bryan jumps off the ring, but Hager catches him, slamming Bryan through the timekeeper's table. That caught me by surprise, and that was a big slam through the table. So now Danielson's definitely hurt from that one. All the weight of Hager landed on him. Hager's now able to hit a snap suplex outside of the ring as well because Danielson was dazed and confused from that shot. Hager then breaks the count so that he doesn't get counted out here because Hager is not here to win the match. He is here to hurt Bryan Danielson. So Hager takes Bryan into the ring and mounts him for some punches and nasty elbow strikes here. Bryan's looking dazed and hurt now. Hager stays on the attack, hitting a big amateur style slam, and the crowd is booing as we go to a picture-in-picture ad break. So the game plan with Jake Hager is clear: soften up and damage the back of Danielson by any means necessary so that Jericho can tap out Danielson at All Out with either the Lion Tamer or the Walls of Jericho. So Hager now hits some more strikes, keeping the pace super slow because it already looks like Hager is sucking for wind and he's tired. He's trying to get his stamina back now, while also doing some striking blows slowly on Danielson. If Danielson can survive this attack, it looks like he'll be able to take out Hager later because Hager's already tired and his stamina's low. So Hager sets Bryan up on the top rope as we come back from the break. Hager hits some big chops and strikes while up on the corner as well. Hager gets down and then argues with the referee. This allows Danielson to hit a missile drop kick right off the top rope. The crowd's going wild now as Danielson's hitting stiff kicks that turn into the yes kicks, followed by a big roundhouse that connects to the head. Hager's just barely able to kick out of this one. Bryan hits a couple of the hammer and anvil elbows, but Hager uses his MMA experience to counter this. Danielson then counters back with an armbar, but Hager gets out and hits some hammer fist strikes to the face as we've broken out to a pure MMA match now. Daniels gets a triangle choke, but Hager gets out by hitting a big power bomb slam to get out of it. Hager then hits some more hammer fist, and Danielson counters with the label lock. Hager powers out of this and applies an ankle lock, but Danielson's able to pick the ankle and apply the label lock again. Hager's fighting for a while, and it looks like he might have to tap, but he's able to get the ropes using his power and reach advantage. But the damage is done. Hager's in trouble now, and his stamina's gone. So Danielson hits some big chops and kicks in a row and a running drop kick into the corner. Danielson tries a second one, but Hager's able to counter this. They counter back and forth for a little bit here until Danielson hits a psycho knee, and that, of course, gets the 1-2-3. Hager was completely out of stamina. The winner of this match by pinfall, Bryan Danielson, and I love that match. I don't know if everyone's going to love that. Like true MMA fans aren't going to like this, but if you're a wrestling fan that likes MMA as well, this is the match for you. It just was purely like an MMA match in a wrestling ring. So you know what I'm saying. They made the fight look real, and everything was clicking in that match. Really good stuff, and that's something you're not going to see in UFC, is somebody that big against somebody that small. So they put on a spectacle here. Probably my favorite match of the night. I love this one. So I'm not sure how many other people Hager could have that style match with on the roster, but Wheeler Yuta and Garcia come to mind as being potential people. Like, could you imagine Hager for the pure title against Yuta? I don't know. Did they already do that? It seems like they might have, but I know I'm trying to think. Maybe they did do that. But anyway, right after the match now, Daddy Magic Matt Menard, Cool Hand Ange, Angelo Parker come out and they rush the ring. So, of course, that brings down Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. And yet again, for I don't know how many months we've been doing this, it's a Blackpool Combat Club, Jericho Appreciation Society brawl. Jericho runs down from the commentary. Jericho has a chair and he's looking to hit Bryan Danielson with it, who was like not looking at him. Garcia now runs out and he takes the chair from Jericho. This gets Jericho all mad and he turns around and he turns right back into a psycho knee from Danielson, right to Jericho's previously broken face. So Garcia looks upset about this, but I mean, dude, you're the one that did it. So actions have consequences, my dude. So Garcia, I don't know what he was expecting, but he looks remorseful right away, and it looks like that might be one step too far from Jericho. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that, but definitely interesting. Yet another Blackpool Comic Club JAS brawl. It just will never end. But it's still kind of, it's got juice left in it. Like I just said, I wanted to see a Hager Yuta fight, so it still does have juice in it. So we go to a commercial break. Really weird, super weird. When we come back, it's the Wingmen, all four of them in the ring. You've got JD Drake, who just last night said that he wanted to concentrate more on the Workhorsemen, which was on Dark. That was Workhorseman is his tag team with Anthony Henry. But here's JD Drake right out here with the rest of them. It's Ryan Nemeth, it's Pretty Peter Avalon, and Cesar Bononi, along with JD Drake. They've got signs that say like put more wingmen on TV and stuff like that. It looks like they're having a strike here, which totally weird. Like I said, JD Drake just kind of said last night that he wanted to move on. But anyway, even more what the heck and weird is that W Morrissey comes out now, formerly known as Big Cass in WWE. And we've seen W Morrissey here in AEW before. He had a pretty impressive match here on Dynamite and earlier in the year. So W. Morrissey, he comes out and he just absolutely destroys the Wingmen. So what a weird segment. There's nobody in the world that would have predicted that the Wingmen would all be in the ring and then W. Morrissey comes out and destroys them. Nobody could have predicted this. So W. Morrissey, big 7-foot guy. If you've never seen Big Cass from WWE or William Morrissey, William is his first name, or Bill, but W. Morrissey is what he goes by. Anyway, he hits a big boot on Cesar Bononi, choke slams JD Drake, and then holy crap, out of nowhere, Stokely Hathaway now walks out, which is very interesting indeed, because I've been wondering why Stokely Hathaway hasn't debuted his new stable yet. We know that from watching that Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, Colton, and Austin Gunn are all four in the male version of Stokely Hathaway's group. We're already pretty sure they have nothing to do with the baddies. So Jade Cargill and the baddies will be separate from this group, which is Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, the Gun Club. And now it's looking like by having Stokely Hathaway walk out right now, maybe the reason they haven't debuted the new stable yet is they were waiting for the big man William Morrissey of all people. So he destroys the W. Morrissey destroys the Wingmen further, and the crowd's loving it. So Stokely stands in the ring, hands a business card to W. Morrissey, and then W. Morrissey leaves with Stokely Hathaway. Tony Schiavone then stops them to try and ask him what's going on. Stokely says it's none of your business, so Tony Schiavone presses farther, and this makes Stokely so mad that he grabs Tony Schiavone, who says, "Hey, jack off," which was one of the lines of the night, and he shoves Stokely away. Stokely and Morrissey get mad, but they leave, and it looks like they're together. So, wow. A Stokely Hathaway stable. So Stokely Hathaway is the manager of a new stable. They got the big man William Morrissey. They've got Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page, and the Gun Club, minus Billy Gunn, because they kicked him out of the Gun Club. So that is an interesting stable, to say the least. I was not expecting to see William Morrissey tonight, the former Big Kaz, but if he's the prized pupil of this new Stokely Hathaway group, then that makes them instantly somebody that's going to go up against the Trustbusters. You know that, because they got Parker Boudreaux. So that definitely they're the better version of the Trustbusters. With you got Lee Moriarty, you got Ethan Page, who's great, and then the Gun Club. They're pretty good for a young tag team with not much experience. So look out for that group. Stokely Hathaway also is a great talker on his own. We know Ethan Page is a great talker. So all kinds of firepower around this group. I wonder when they're gonna debut as a like full unit coming out together or whatnot. So anyway, in the back now is Alex Marvez, which is we haven't seen him in a long time. He's an interviewer, but they've been using Lexi Nair instead of him. Anyway, Alex Marvez is with United Empire, so that's Will Ospreay, the leader, and the United States champion from IWGP and New Japan. Will Ospreay says he's there with Aussie Open, Mark Davis, and Kyle Fletcher as well. Will Ospreay says it's fine. Finally, after all these years, I get Kenny Omega in the ring. And then before he can say anything else, Don Callis walks in, and he basically just kisses Omega's butt. Will Ospreay's butt, and brings up the last time they were in a tag match that Omega hit Ospreay with the one-winged angel. So Ospreay gets mad, of course, and tells everyone, including Marvez, to leave, and that match is going to be great. And it looks like, and it is true, that will be the main event, United Empire against the Elite. What a main event it was, too. Wow. So anyway, now Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter now come out together. They're accompanied by Rebel, and this will be the tag team match with the 4 competitors in this Sunday's interim world title match, with the unfortunate injury to Thunder Rosa. So an interim champion will be made with these 4 women. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter are going to be against each other in a 4-way match, but with each other tonight in the tag match. Next, coming out to Toni Storm's music is Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida, who come out together with matching red. You'd love to see that when people are in a tag match, even if you're not an established team. If you have options for colors, then match your colors. But anyway, Shida and Jamie are going to start the match. Jamie hits a big shoulder tackle twice in a row using his power advantage. Shida then counters and hits a nasty looking spike Hurricane Rana. Holy crap, Jamie Hayter landed right on her head hard. Shida and Toni now tag in. Or no, not Shida. Britt and Toni tag in. Or no, Shida and Toni use quick tags here. They hit a bunch of double teams. Good teamwork by Shida and Toni Storm. Then Jamie counters Toni and tags out. Excuse me. Toni she counters Britt Baker charging in with a drop toe hold. That was nice. Then tries to do the hip attack, but Jamie Hayter gets a distraction, allowing Britt Baker to take control as we go to a picture-in-picture ad break. Now Britt uses the ring post to attack the shoulder and face of Storm as Jamie tags in and keeps Storm in the corner. They use quick tags to isolate Storm here as Britt then tags back in. Storm counters a move, but Britt counters right back and catches Toni up on the top rope. Both women are up there fighting. Now we're back from the break, and Storm hits a tornado DDT off the top rope. That looked nice. Then Jamie runs in, but Storm tags out anyway. Shida hits a big punch and more punches in the corner with a drop kick and a vertical suplex right after that. Shida now fires up the crowd, hits a springboard Meteora that looked awesome. Britt Baker has to come in and break up the pin. Jamie then counters a double team attempt by hitting a double suplex. That was great. Jamie Hayter's a powerhouse in the women's division. Britt Baker now tags in and hits a corkscrew neckbreaker, really smooth on that one, almost winning the match against Shida. Shida gets a roll up right after that for a 2 count. The 2 people that fought at last year in 2022 when Britt Baker won the title from Shida, they were told they haven't been in the ring ever since, which is weird. That definitely is one of those things where AEW doesn't really have title match rematches, so something like this can happen. It's been like so long, over a year or whatever, since Shida and Britt Baker had that title match with the title exchange. Never been in the ring ever since. So anyway, Britt then we got that roll up, and then Britt misses a stomp right after that. Shida then counters back and forth with Britt, and then Britt hits a big punch. Rebel now putting on the glove. Looks like Britt wants to end it, but Britt turns right into a huge shot from Shida. Big time shot there. Shida then takes out Jamie Hayter as well. Toni and Britt both take out Jamie again. Toni takes out Britt and Jamie. Shida then hits the spin kick, and that gets the 1, 2, 3. So the winners of this match by pinfall are Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. And a really good match here. A little chaotic at the end. It was hard to keep up, but that 4-way match is going to be even more chaotic and fun to watch. So that's going to be it was a good preview for that 4-way match for the interim world title. It's going to be a good one. So now we see a video with highlights of last week when Kip Sabian finally showed himself after sitting with a box on his head for over a year in the crowd. Pac now pulled the box off last week, and it was some random guy. Then from behind, Kip Sabian attacked, and he cost Pac and Death Triangle their chances at the Trios titles. Now we hear from Kip Sabian, who says, "I'm a stickler for details, but even the most well thought out master plan couldn't prepare for the opportunity to just fall at my feet. Pac, you fell so easily for it." And Pac says, "You have pestered me for too long. What, you want a shot at the All Atlantic title? Fine." So basically, this is set up an All Atlantic title match at All Out. Pac against Kip Sabian, and apparently a storyline that's been going on for a year in the background. The whole Kip Sabian thing's weird, but they kind of only tacked on the Pac part. I don't think there was anything to do with Pac. I think it was just something they were doing without a plan. Then they figured, okay, well, then we'll have him go over to the UK and sit in some shows with Pac. We'll show those shows on Dark with All Atlantic title matches in Europe. And then like out of nowhere one day, Excalibur literally said, "Oh, that's Kip Sabian under the box." So it was at that point where they decided that's what they finally wanted to do. I don't think that's really like, is that really worth a 1 year long freaking storyline for an All Atlantic? I'm a fan of the All Atlantic title, but I call it the Dark title, and I miss it being on Dark. It was like 3 weeks out of a 4 week span. We got All Atlantic title matches as the main event of Dark, and it made Dark so much better. Then we got rid of those right after they said the whole Kip Sabian thing, and so all of it was just leading up to this. So I mean, I'd rather just have those random title matches on Dark as opposed to a year-long storyline with the guy in with a box on his head, ending with just a random like buried away. Is it even going to be on the pre-show? Like, there's so many other matches at All Out that's just going to be so buried. So hopefully, there's more storyline that comes out of this, and it's just not, oh, you fell into my. I had a grand plan master plan, but then you just fell right at my feet, and like, so that sounds to me like it's just retconning an entire year of worthless things. If you were hoping for something good to come out of the box on his head, they completely just retconned it, and now it's just, oh, you fell at my feet. So I think that's it. All we're getting out of the box on a head for over a year in the crowd and a year's worth of speculation is just an All Atlantic title match that'll get buried away on All Out amongst all the other good matches. So, not really good there. Hopefully, something else cool can come out of it. One thing to note is that Kip Sabian has the exact same hair color as his wife, Penelope Ford, now. So we might see Penelope Ford involved in that. I don't know what that would even mean or if that would be good or not, but she herself is a good wrestler, so I'd like to see her on TV more often. She came back from an injury a couple weeks ago on Dark or Elevation, one of the two. So when we come back from the break now, we get a Miro video. So Miro, formerly known as Rusev, is in the darkness, and he says that last week, all they wanted to do was redeem you. Darby and Sting, I don't know what you're thinking, because the last ones that tried to help me fell so hard, they fell to hell. And Darby then walks in and says, "Malachi, you need Brody and Buddy. They don't need you," bringing up how Brody was doing just fine when Malachi was not around. Then Sting says, "The enemy of our enemy is our friends. It's showtime." So we knew this was going to, from last week, that this was setting up, but now it's pretty much, or it is official. It will be another good trios match. We've got a couple good I think, three different good trios matches on All Out. Maybe that's too many for some people. The one I wouldn't have wanted was the stupid FTR and Wardlow not defending their titles. Like, that's so weird. But yeah, this trios match should be good. It's a way for everybody to get on the card. Sting will be on the card. House of Black are awesome. Miro's awesome. Darby's cool. So that should be a good one. So now, big news here as CM Punk now comes out in front of his hometown. Looking sad. He's just downtrodden and sad. So the hometown Chicago crowd is still cheering for him. And then CM Punk gets in the ring as they chant his name. He takes a while to think. He's still sad. So CM Punk says, "June 1st, I broke my foot. And if that wasn't bad enough, I then wrestled a match on it. And the doctor said I crunched every bone in there. And on June 8th, I had surgery, 3 plates, 16 screws put in my foot, which is 16 more times than this fat guy's ever gotten screwed in his life." I probably shouldn't have said that, but I probably shouldn't have done a lot of things in my career. One of them being coming back too soon from injury. Last week, I had to drive home with just my thoughts, but something about this time didn't sit well with me. Was my foot 100%? The answer was yes. The doctors cleared me, but I don't know if 100% is good enough. I came back to pro wrestling a year ago because I love this business. I also came back because I love you fans, and that's why it hurts me to feel like I let you down. I couldn't walk Larry, my dog, for 2 months. I let him down. I rushed back and performed to all you, let you down. Maybe that love uh, just just isn't enough anymore. And then Ace Steel walks out. So we saw Ace Steel earlier pick up the contract that Moxley laid down. Ace Steel gets in the ring and says, "This isn't what we talked about back there. This isn't you. Since the first day I trained you, I knew that you fought for everything in your career, and I'm proud of my career, but more proud of yours because I trained you and coached you. We're friends and family, and I can tell you 100% you didn't let anybody down. You filled an entire arena off of a rumor from coming back after 7 years. Now, I'm not letting you give up now." So Ace Steel slaps CM Punk across the face, says the F-bomb on the air, and pulls out the contract from earlier. Ace Steel says, "You will fight Moxley and you will sign this contract." The crowd then chants CM Punk. Punk thinks it over and he takes his jacket off, hugs Ace Steel, and CM Punk says, "Before I was ever CM Punk, I was just a punk rock kid from Chicago. I was born with a cord around my neck, and I didn't die then, and I haven't died yet. Moxley, you can't kill me. Let's go, Moxley. You're a wild thing, but you're not wild enough. This is Chicago where the weak get killed and eaten." And then Punk goes out in the crowd and says, "We're different kind of kids here. We have the same heartbeat. One pulse runs through the streets of Chicago. Moxley at All Out, you can't break my bones. You can't drink my blood because we're in Chicago." CM Punk then signs the contract, and wow, that combined with the opening segment with Moxley, I think did an absolutely perfect job of explaining why they had the first match 11 days before the pay-per-view. It was risky, but think about everything that a lot of long time, I'm a 30 plus year wrestling fan. One of the things I say is everything, like, we've seen everything. There's not enough originality. Well, here's a little story. Here, we're going to have the title match because we can't wait to fight 11 days before. CM Punk gets in there. We think, oh my gosh, he came back too early. John Moxley comes out here and says CM Punk went down, not because he was hurt, because he knew the fighting spirit inside of him was gone and he couldn't beat me. And that seems to be true because look at what CM Punk was out here basically to retire. CM Punk was coming out to retire. He was downtrodden. Even the chants from his hometown crowd didn't put a smile on his face. And then he felt like he left everyone down. He was about to retire. Ace Steel comes out, his trainer, best friend, who happens to work here, slaps him in the face, says, "You're not this guy. I grabbed this contract earlier. Sign it." So that brought the slap, the realization that he's in his hometown and that he can't go out like this, brought the fighting spirit back. So I was going to be cynical if this was going to be the case, which it is. It is going to be CM Punk against Moxley at All Out. And I was going to be a little bit cynical because, oh, we just saw you lose in 3 minutes. So how can I explain? How can you get me to want to watch the rematch when we just saw you lose? Well, now we found out. It wasn't because CM Punk was never that hurt. He didn't have the fighting spirit to fight back. And now the fighting spirit's gone. So if you think of it like that, now you can accept it, and I will accept it. I'm ready to come on here tonight and blast having, if that was indeed what it was just going to be a rematch with Punk and Moxley, but they did it perfectly. They did it absolutely perfectly by saying that CM Punk, and it clear as day, CM Punk didn't have the fighting spirit inside of him until Ace Steel just slapped him in front of everybody on national TV in his hometown right as he was about to retire. So that all is a really good story, and I'm really looking forward to that main event. I have no idea what's going to happen. Is CM Punk going to win? Is CM Punk going to turn heel? Is he going to not show up? Is MJF going to come out and wreck the match? Is Hangman Page going to come out and make CM Punk lose the match? Like, there's so many different possibilities of where this story could go on All Out Sunday, combined with the fact that it looks like Moxley and Punk really want to kill each other. So all of that leads to a perfect main event for one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year. I mean, you only have 4, so they're all kind of pretty big. So really good stuff. Really, really, really good idea. I was really hesitant ever since they said it was going to be the title match last week. I was scared. I was like, what are they doing? Blah blah blah. Like I knew because they're not Vince McMahon that I can trust them a little bit more. If it was Vince, I would have just assumed it would be something crappy, and then we'd have a rematch in 11 days. So here we are. It's going to be a rematch in 11 days after that, but they told a whole story. We didn't even really get a match on Dynamite, nor did we get like a DQ finish or like, a big brawl, nothing like that. What we got was a story. The story here was that CM Punk had lost his fighting spirit. The fighting spirit was gone, and now it's back 1 week later. And he was about to retire, but it was slapped into him from his trainer, best friend, family, Ace Steel, in front of everyone. Great stuff. Love it. Whew. So now earlier today we've got Jim Ross talking to Christian and Jungle Boy. Follow that, right? Go ahead and follow that, Christian and Jungle Boy. Christian has a hurt elbow still. I still don't really understand how he hurt it. It's just there's been so much other things going on. I don't like every time I see Christian, I have to be reminded that he has a hurt elbow. So that's going to be a story of this match going into All Out, where Christian and Jungle Boy will take on each other. So Christian says, "Well, JR, you signed my first contract. You know I'm a professional, but at All Out, I will destroy the career of the 25-year-old Jungle Boy." Then Jungle Boy says, "I loved you. I felt like you loved me too, but I guess this right here is the real you." Christian says, "Well, I wasn't here to be a father figure. I was here to make money and win championships." Jungle Boy says, "Sunday, you'll be in a fight with Jack Perry." And then the interview ends. So that was fine. Nothing special. The whole "I loved you, you loved me," a little too cheesy for me, but it is what it is. He brought it back with the father figure thing. Maybe that's the whole story here. He lost his father, was looking for, I don't know. I don't even want to really look into it too much further. He uses his real name, but meaning that he means business here. So I guess this was fine. It was really short. It was a way to remind people that that match is going to happen. Not too much else to really say about it. They've had all the exchanges that they had before this were all way better, So now we just kind of been the match is kind of actually Christian and Jungle Boy. This match should have happened like a month ago in a main event or something. I don't know, because by now it seems like the match has kind of gotten a little cold. So we'll see what they do. I guess the entire point of this match between Christian and Jungle Boy is the fact that we have to find out whose side Luchasaurus is on. So don't expect like a wrestling clinic or a classic. This entire story is just going to be, or this match is going to be story based on Luchasaurus, who every time we see Luchasaurus, he still has the black mask on. So that tells me he's just going to be with Christian still. Otherwise, he'd be in the green mask, right? But maybe that means nothing. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So all of a sudden FTR's music hits and they come out looking ready for a match. So I got excited for about 2 or 3 seconds. And then Wardlow music hits, and I knew exactly that we were about to get a lame trios match against jobbers, and that's exactly what it will be. So disappointing there. Anyway, Wardlow comes out joining FTR. In the ring already is Silas Young from ROH fame. Good to see him back. Also, Ren Jones, who got absolutely destroyed by Powerhouse Hobbs a few weeks ago. And then Vic Dupree, who, if you've been watching Elevation, Daddy Magic Matt Menard's been talking about Dupree a lot, just making fun of him. Like, even when he's not there, this week on Elevation, Vic Dupree wasn't even on there, and he started making fun of him. Matt Menard's great at that. So anyway, they didn't even have a graphic for their names. So, not to get too excited about this. It was nice to see Silas Young from ROH in this match, meaning that he might get some more chances. He had a really good match on Dynamite a few months ago. So right away, Wardlow destroys Ren Jones. He tags in Dax. Ren is able to counter Dax here and then tag in Vic Dupree. So maybe that's the running joke here, because Vic Dupree now has to take all the big moves, and this was probably done to pop Matt Menard in the back. So FTR hit the big rig on Dupree. Wardlow hits the powerbomb symphony on Dupree for the 1, 2, 3. The winners of this match by pinfall, FTR and Wardlow, who have kind of been bouncing around the Pinnacle name again now that it's not being used. So you might call them the Pinnacle. But anyway, you'd have to imagine only really people in the arena like this match. The people in the arena loved it. I can't imagine anybody on TV would have been really excited. This is something they could have done after the show to pop the fans and make them cheer. I'm still not really excited about FTR having the team with Wardlow instead of just defending. Like, they haven't defended the IWGP heavyweight titles yet. Like, could we not have them defended at All Out against Motor City Machine Guns? Why does Wardlow and Jay Lethal have to be there? Just put Wardlow in that stupid match with Satnam Singh or whatever. At least have the FTR title defended. Wardlow's whole thing is he wants to bring prestige back to the title. Then he wins in a 17-second match against Nick Nemeth, who has 1 win all year. So who knows what that is. Anyway, I'm just gonna move on. This was a nothing match. I was excited for, like I said, 3 seconds when FTR came out looking ready to wrestle, and then Wardlow came out, and I knew it was gonna be a nothing jobber match. It was fine, whatever. So when we go to a commercial break, now Jon Moxley just comes down to the ring, no music, no nothing. He storms down. Jon Moxley says, "Oh, so that's what your boy wants? That's what he'll get. If he wants to go out on his shield and in front of his hometown, fine. At Sunday, one more time for the AEW Championship. The moment the bell rings, you're in danger because I'll put on a display of brutality, a glorious pro wrestling violence, and I'll show that CM Punk is a fake messiah." Big words there. Then Moxley leaves. So I can't wait to see what the heck happens at that match. You've got so many potentials. Moxley just wins. CM Punk just wins. MJF returns. Hangman comes out. Like could be anybody like Lance Archer. Like I'm literally expecting anything. We don't want it to be too silly. Like you don't want like a WCW big main event where there's so much silliness going on. But you could have a few things. Maybe something happens after the match or during, or who knows what's going to happen. I'm expecting the unexpected, though. I don't think it's just going to be a straight up match. But if it is, we've got a really good story going on here with CM Punk. Like I've already explained, he's got the fighting spirit back. The foot was fine last week. It just was the fighting spirit that he lost. He's got it back. He's fired up. And what happened? So the story is here. CM Punk got it back by getting his face slapped on live TV from his trainer. That got the fighting spirit back in CM Punk. But what if Jon Moxley just wins again? Is that it for CM Punk? Or does CM Punk go on like a madman revenge, take out everybody, spill the blood until the rivers are red kind of deal? Like that could be something that happens too. We don't know what's going to happen. This whole intertwining story of all the baby faces like Hangman Page and Eddie Kingston and now Jon Moxley as well, basically calling out CM Punk, fake messiah, you're selfish, you only care about yourself kind of deal. You say all these things, but blah, blah, blah. So I think that's still the underlying story that CM Punk's ultimately a heel. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. But that also brings up the whole story of that's you can pretty much intertwine throughout AEW. It's currently with the elite. We don't really the elite are basically still heels. They get cheered, but are they good guys? No, they spit in people's faces. They make fun of their own friends like Cutler and Nakazawa. Like they are bad people. And basically at the end of the day, the whole story that's going on intertwined in AEW is that the shades of gray. There is no wholly good person, wholly white. There is no wholly bad person, black. Just like MJF. Remember, we found out the origin story of MJF is him getting picked on because he was Jewish. And right when he joined the football team, to think that he was going to make some friends finally. Then they just threw things at him and called him Jew boy. So there's the origin story there. Not all of MJF's thing. Like you can. This goes with everything in life. So that's the overall arching story, which means we could go any direction from this point on. But the biggest story is if CM Punk loses that match. So if he wins, just regular wins, then we kind of go back to, I'm guessing Hangman will be the next. Hangman is still the number one ranked wrestler behind CM Punk, who just dropped back into the rankings this week. So I'm guessing we'll go. I guess if you were betting on wrestling, which you should never do, but CM Punk is who you would put your money on because if CM Punk loses right here, he's basically going to lose his fighting spirit forever. And then what's the story you tell then? Like I said, the story could be he goes on a blood rage, fill the rivers red with blood kind of evil stuff. But if CM Punk wins, that's kind of the story we'll go with Hangman Page after All Out. Then we'll bring back in this whole good guy, bad guy. Maybe we'll see Hangman Page team back up with the elite at some point, and then CM Punk will be like, "Look at you, you're not a good guy. Look at what everything you guys are doing with the elite or whatever." So maybe that's where we're headed. Really looking forward to it. So anyway, let's move on for Dynamite. In the back now, Tony Schiavone. This was ridiculous. I couldn't believe this happened. So in the back, 10, as you saw on Rampage, 10 from the Dark Order injured his knee. He can no longer compete, but Evil Uno has returned from Germany, and he'll take 10's spot. Andrade then walks up and says, "What happened to you? You used to have power. What happened? Do you need money? And I was thinking about giving you a contract, 10. You have a great body. We could just take that mask off, though." So, which was totally weird. Andrade has some kind of taking mask fetish off. But Evil Uno says, no, take your money, just leave us alone. Andrade then attacks Evil Uno while Jose, the assistant, uses a taser on 10. What did I just witness? So then they just leave. What is going on? Holy crap. So anyway, it is we'll see, we'll touch on that a little bit later, but yes, Jose the assistant just used the taser on 10, who was already out injured with a knee injury. Maybe he used it on Evil Uno as well. They pretty much tell us later that Evil Uno has been taken out. I don't know. Maybe he got the taser too. So anyway, it's time for the four-way match that was announced just a couple of hours before Dynamite between 4 of the 8 competitors in this Sunday's Casino Battle Royal. So Dante Martin comes out first, and then Rush, who has Jose the assistant with him, who just used a taser on national TV. Ridiculous. So Ray Fenix now comes out. Huge cheers. And he's got Alex Abrahantes, and out last is the ROH Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta, who's accompanied by William Regal. He'll do commentary again for the second match tonight. When the bell rings, just all hell breaks loose immediately. Rush then flips over Wheeler Yuta, but Yuta applies an octopus hold. Rush uses his power advantage to get out and hit a power slam. Dante and Fenix are back in the ring now, and Dante hits a nasty counter, almost beating Fenix right away. Fenix then hits an Hurricane Rana on Dante, then a Tope Hikaru onto the other two men outside the ring. Yuta then does a cool dive as well. Dante Martin dives to the outside with a springboard corkscrew attack, and then Rush takes all three out and hits a Tope Hikaru himself, crushing the three smaller men because Rush has some good size to him. That was awesome. As we go to a picture-in-picture ad break now, Rush then gets some cables. He wants to attack Fenix with those a little bit. Rush then hits a snap mirror on Yuta outside the ring. Back in the ring, Yuta and Rush have a striking exchange. Rush fires up, absorbing all these shots. Like they're not even affecting him at all. He takes out Yuta and he fakes doing the bull's horn drop kick, but then slaps Yuta in the face instead. Rush then does the tranquilo pose, and he's looking dominant in this match. And I'm wondering what happened to Dante Martin. But anyway, Fenix is back. He gets taken out. There's Dante. He gets taken out as well. They can't get back in the ring. Rush then takes them out right away, and Rush attacks Fenix and goes back to Yuta, who was up on the top rope. He gets caught here as we come back from the break. So Dante's able to take Rush down and goes to that corner, hitting a German suplex on Fenix off the top. Yuta then hits a missile drop kick on Dante, and Rush hits a straight jacket pile driver on Yuta, almost winning the match right there. Fenix then tries a springboard Casadora, but Dante blocks it, hitting a slam. Then Fenix blocks the next attack, hitting a facebuster powerbomb combo, and that was a little awkward, but the powerbomb was good. Rush then breaks up that pin. Fenix then uses the ropes to hit a back heel kick, knocking Rush out of the ring. Dante uses a poison Rana on Fenix, almost winning the match again. Yuta then stops Dante from hitting his finisher, the double springboard nosedive moonsault. Then Fenix jumps out onto Rush. Yuta has knocked Dante down to the ground, so Yuta goes up to the top rope, but Dante moves out of the way. They counter each other back and forth until Yuta's able to get the seatbelt pin applied deeply, getting the 1-2-3. Winner of this match by pinfall, Wheeler Yuta. So wow, that was a chaotic match, but that's only half as chaotic, probably only a third of as chaotic as Sunday's casino ladder match is going to be. 8-person ladder match. I don't know what the prize is going to be, but maybe a title shot. It should be good. It's featuring these four. You add in Andrade El Idolo, Penta Obscuro, Claudio Castagnoli of all people, and then a Joker, a mystery person. Could be a debut, could be a return, could be somebody on the roster we weren't expecting. But that should be a good match. Looking forward to that big 8-man ladder match. In the back now is John Silver and Alex Reynolds, who are devastated by what just happened. They just saw their two teammates get taken out with tasers just before Friday night's trios semifinal. So Alex Reynolds says, look, this trios tournament was the biggest opportunity the Dark Order has. So if that means we have to take them down 2-on-3, we'll do it. And then Hangman Page walks up, and Adam Page says that he'll be the partner. Silver says, well, we got to get it cleared first, but that's awesome. So Hangman says, see you Friday, and they move on to the next segment. So there you go. It's just a taser attack from Jose the assistant, who had that on their bingo put the money on that for being the way that Hangman could get into the finals against the Elite. So it looks like we're definitely setting up for the Elite against Dark Order, featuring Hangman in an all-out match. So that'll be a huge match at All Out, probably. because that's what we were all assuming beforehand what was going to happen, and now now they figured out a way to get Hangman Page in there with a taser. So now we're told a little bit of what's going to happen on the live version of Rampage this Friday. It'll be Swerve and Our Glory with a face-to-face with their competitors for the title match against the Acclaim. So maybe we'll get it would be nice if Max and Swerve did a little bit of rapping on that face-to-face. Anyway, we'll see QT Marshall taking on Ricky Starks. Remember, Powerhouse Hobbs takes on Ricky Starks at All Out, and Powerhouse Hobbs has also threatened QT Marshall and the factory that they need to take out Ricky Starks. So Powerhouse Hobbs must be feeling scared about his match, needing 5 people to help him out. So anyway, there will also be a sit-down interview with Jade Cargill against, ahead of her at TBS title match against Athena at All Out. So a sit-down interview there. Maybe Athena will interrupt it or something like that, and we'll see something cool happen there. A little bit weird because AEW is not big on their rematches, but it will be a rematch from last week in a AAA mixed tag title match. Sammy Guevara, Ty Mello taking on Ortiz and Ruby Soho. So that's a little awkward. Maybe they could have made it a triple threat match, adding in if they added in Sky Blue and Dante Martin for a triple threat, that would have made a little more sense at least. But anyway, next week in Daniel Garcia's hometown of Buffalo, New York for Dynamite, it will be Daniel Garcia taking on Wheeler Yuta again for the pure title. And like I said, in Garcia's hometown, that's going to be a big moment on Dynamite next week. So something to look forward to already for next week, as well as everything from the fallout from All Out. We got a couple matches here that were announced recently here. So for All Out, I don't have the whole card written down. We can go over it at the end, but Eddie Kingston taking on Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan was announced for the pre-show. So Eddie Kingston, of course, not taking on Sammy Guevara anymore. Looks like the reports might have been true. I thought it was one of those wrestling things, but I could see it happening. I could see a scuffle happening between Kingston and Sammy. So anyway, they're not in the match anymore at the pay-per-view. Instead, Tomohiro Ishii will be here. If you remember, Ishii won a 4-man tournament to be in the All-Atlantic. So I would have liked to see him in the All-Atlantic title match instead, but at least Ishii, who was injured for Forbidden Door, gets to come for the All-Out pre-show. Also, it's official, Hook will defend the FTW title against Cool Hand Angelo Parker, which should be an interesting match. And you know that Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting to that soon. I am definitely getting to that soon. That's why I'm still got a lot of energy in me, because I came on the air right after that main event match tonight. So, and we're all, oh yeah, we are there. We are there. So the other matches that were announced, that we saw Pac and Kip Sabian, they'll take each other on for the All Atlantic title, and then House of Black versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. So in addition to everything else that was already announced. So when we come back from the break, it is time for the main event. So I did the best I could. There is so much going on in this match. United Empire come out first, and Will Ospreay's already looking super fired up, ready to hurt Kenny Omega. So now the Young Bucks come out, accompanied by Brandon Cutler. Big cheers for everyone so far, but the biggest cheers for Kenny Omega. So before Kenny Omega comes out, the ring announcer I can't believe this happened. The ring announcer listed off a bunch of facts about how Kenny Omega is better than Ospreay. Like, he's got a record of 5-0 in trios matches against Ospreay. He's got blah 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 against Ospreay. He's sold more merchandise than Will Ospreay. Like, it was just hilarious. Eventually Ospreay is going to be livid with this, and it was awesome. So Kenny Omega comes out all fired up, and he's got Don Callis, who goes on commentary. Don tells us right away that the rehab for Kenny Omega is going better than they hoped. So that's a little insight from Don Callis. The match starts here with Ospreay and Omega. So here we go. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, 2 of the best in the world, fired up. They're all fired up from personal shots. If you didn't hear, Will Ospreay was talking a bunch of crap only a couple months ago, saying how much like he would never be in the ring with Omega, that it was personal. We were all pretty much thinking it sounded like they were building up to a match, which everyone kind of thinks that match is going to happen one-on-one at Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th in New Japan. So keep your eye on that. We'll probably see FTR there as well. Should be a great card. Anyway, this match is incredible. Let's see how they go. Kenny hits a shoulder tackle. Then Ospreay gets up. They start brawling right away. Ospreay hits a huge chop, but Omega hits a huge chop right back. Ospreay hits Omega into the corner right away. Young Bucks run in to stop this big attack. Then Aussie Open run in as well, so the Bucks take them out. And then Kenny hits more chops. So big chop city in the beginning of this match. Ospreay hits a nasty looking running back elbow. Then the Young Bucks double team Ospreay. They dive out to Aussie Open, and Aussie Open catch them. Ospreay then goes up to the top rope and hits a beautiful sky twister press to the outside of the ring. That's always amazing to see. What a great start to this match already. That takes out everyone. They have a big 6-man brawl as we go to the first picture ad break. And it's been chaotic so far. Really good stuff. Back in the ring now, Kenny has Ospreay trapped in the corner. Looks like the Young Bucks are there too. So the Aussie Open must have got beaten up badly on that brawl. Aussie Open still trying to recover. So Young Bucks use quick tags to double team and isolate Will Ospreay here. Omega taking cheap shots from the outside. He's fired up for this one. He'll take the cheap shots. Nick Jackson, the legal man, now spits at Mark Davis, who's back on the corner. So if you were wondering, like I was saying, the Elite are certainly heels still. They just get cheered. So anyway, we come back from the break, and Mark Davis tags in. He's the bigger one of Aussie Open, probably the biggest, or by far the biggest man in this match. Mark Davis then hits strikes on the Young Bucks, and Mark hits a double suplex on the Bucks. Then picks both Bucks up at the same time and slams them. That looked great. Kyle Fletcher, the other Aussie Open tag partner, comes in, and Aussie Open did a double team cutter, like throwing him into a cutter. That was awesome. Matt has to come in and break up the pin. Will Ospreay comes in now. Matt hits a Casadora on Omega. On Ospreay, and then Omega tags in. So Mark Davis is in. I can't even keep track of who's legal in this craziness. Omega hits a big move that almost wins the match. Sometimes I have to write big move. I couldn't quite even see what it was without. It would have taken me a full hour to run this down. But anyway, Kyle then runs in. Omega hits a Snapdragon suplex on him. Omega then hits a Snapdragon suplex on Mark. Ospreay comes in. He lands on his feet out of a move from Omega. Ospreay tries for the Space Tiger flip out of the ring, but Omega evades it, then hits a Snapdragon suplex outside of the ring. That was insane and nasty. So Aussie Open now looking for a superplex on Omega. Just everything's happening all at once here. You go from one to the next. Then they hit a delayed version of the superplex on Omega. Mark then makes the pin, but Nick Jackson breaks it up. Ospreay tags in, and he takes off the compression shirt of Omega. Underneath, Kenny is all taped up, and Ospreay hits a spinning backbreaker for a 2 count right after that as we go to the last picture-in-picture ad break. Omega is now caught in the United Empire corner. Mark Davis tacks in, hitting shoulder thrust, and then Mark hits Omega with a spin out something. I didn't even write it down. So Matt Jackson has to break out the pin. Mark then takes both Bucks out, and Mark gets Omega back in the United Empire corner. Kyle Fletcher tags in. He hits big strikes as Ospreay's laughing in the corner at what's going on. Ospreay now tags in. He targets that taped up midsection in the ribs of Omega, then applying an abdominal stretch. And Kenny fights out of this and comes close to tagging out as we come back from the break. We actually missed the tag. So Nick Jackson now comes in, and he takes everyone out with really good hot tag offense. Nick then goes off the top rope, but Ospreay blocks a 450 splash with his knees. Then Ospreay hits a Snapdragon suplex of his own on Nick while pointing a finger gun at Omega. This makes Kenny come in. They have a big striking exchange with Ospreay. Ospreay then backflips out of a drop kick. Ospreay counters Omega, hitting a sit-out power bomb. Nick's the legal man, I think, and he gets out of a triple team attempt here. And the Elite now triple team Kyle Fletcher. Mark Davis comes in to break up the pin. Nick then dives to the outside on the Mark, but Ospreay counters. I think it was a Meltzer driver, maybe the Indy driver, Taker, but this was reversed into an Os cutter, or coming off screen. It was ridiculous. Ospreay comes from off screen with an Os cutter. That was awesome. I'm almost glad that they missed the beginning part, because just out of nowhere you see Ospreay flying in with that Os cutter. Now the United Empire with Ospreay hit a reverse, or like a ridiculous version of the Meltzer driver with just the most ridiculous flipping move from Ospreay ever. The Elite are now all back up after all this. Who knows how? And they hit super kicks, ending with the super kick, triple team super party kick on Kyle Fletcher. Omega then hits the V trigger, and he's looking. Oh wait, no, Omega's looking for the V trigger, but Ospreay runs in and intercepts him with a V trigger of his own on Omega. That was nasty looking. Young Bucks now hit an indie taker on one of the guys. I don't even know who. Kenny then Kenny then hits a V trigger on Kyle, followed by the one winged angel, getting the 1-2-3. Holy crap. I'm going to have to watch this match again. I know I missed half of it because I was trying to write it down, but I already know that. You take my word. If you didn't see it, go watch this one. Like, the winners of this match by pinfall are the Elite, and they have one of the wildest highlight reels after a match I've ever seen of all the big moments of the match. So much happened. Holy crap. Like I said, I'm going to watch this one again tonight. There was so much to keep up with. It's better to just watch this. Don't worry about who's the legal man, or someone like a Jim Cornette is definitely going to say there's not enough selling, which there's no selling. Like, somebody just took one of the most ridiculous indie takers of all time, and then they just got right back up. So yeah, it's not all about selling. As long as I'm fine with, like, I can kind of be old school where I would much prefer like a grappling display of, like, my match of the night is still probably Jake Hager versus Bryan Danielson. That'll be an unpopular opinion, but at the same time, I can still see that as long as, like, not every single match on a card is this highlight reel car crash experience where nobody sells and it's just ridiculous action, like something you could watch 2 times, 3 times and still see something new. I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with it. Just because I prefer the other style, like a technical style, doesn't mean I'm like stodgy like the old guys. I can still appreciate this for what it was. Was it my favorite match of the night? No. Was it insane? Yes. Was it great? Yes. Would I recommend this match to my friends that don't really watch wrestling over the other match? Yes. This is the kind of match that, like, people that don't really watch, like, I'm a wrestling nerd, so I like Jake Hager and Bryan Danielson better than this one. But if you've got your friends and they used to watch wrestling like me, every single one of my friends used to watch wrestling back in the Attitude Era and a little bit into the mid 2000s, but they all stopped. I could show them a match like this and they'd be like, holy crap, that was awesome. If I show them Bryan Danielson with Hager, they're gonna be like, oh, this is just fake MMA, and they won't understand. Like, and I get it. To each their own. But one of the things Kenny Omega said on, I'm not one of those guys that thinks Kenny Omega everything he says turns to gold or whatever. But I really liked what he said about when he first returned a couple of weeks ago. Kenny Omega said, "This is AEW." Is a variety show. We want it to be a variety show. We want it to have a little bit of everything for everyone, which ultimately means not everybody is going to be satisfied when you do something like that. Like, there's very rarely someone that's going to like this style of match we saw in the end with the trios and the Bryan Danielson Hager match, as long as, like, maybe they like those two, but they don't like women's wrestling. So, like, just I do like that it's a variety show. Even though I do kind of say I wish the women had their own show. So, but that kind of goes with against the variety show concept that they're trying to put on. They've got a Wardlow, they got a couple other big guys, they got some tag team, now they got trios matches. So really good stuff. And wow, so we've got a live Rampage on Friday. Should be some more developments on that. You know, the Rampages when they're live are always better, and especially right before All Out. Right after Rampage is going to be an hour, maybe an hour long, maybe only a half hour, but the countdown show where you get exclusive promos, and that really is a good. I usually wait until just before. I use that as like my pre-show for the pre-show on Sunday. I watch all those countdown stuff. So it's going to be a good weekend. I'll be here for everything. I'll be covering All Out as soon as it goes off the air. I'm not one of those people that, oh, I hope it's only 3.5 hours. No, give me a 5-hour show. Give me 6 hours. I don't care. Let's do it. Let's go. I'll take down notes till my fingers fall off. Let's go. So I'll be here. I like wrestling, so I like 6-hour shows. I'm down with that. I wish WrestleMania was still one night. Give me that 7.5-hour marathon. Let's go. So anyway, I mean, I could preview All Out, but I think I'll do a bigger preview for the Rampage show. So make sure you get me subscribed so you don't miss out on the Rampage show. We'll talk about that, and there might be a Saturday dark. Sometimes they do a Saturday special dark. So if they do that, I'll cover that as well. So we might have 2 shows before All Out happens. But wow, just going back, if you missed how I broke down all the CM Punk and Moxley stuff, definitely go back in the review. I think I nailed it on the head. I'm sure it was easy for people to read. So if you didn't figure it out, basically CM Punk lost. He wasn't hurt last week. He lost the fighting spirit. So he wasn't hurt. He lost the fighting spirit and gave up. Now CM Punk was about to retire until his trainer and best friend and family guy, Ace Austin, slapped him, or Ace Steel slapped him in the face, and that got the fighting spirit back. So the story now is going to be, if CM Punk loses, his fighting spirit might be gone forever, or he might snap into a madman with a blood rate lust and start destroying everybody. Or CM Punk wins, and now he's already got his next opponent set up, Hangman Page. So that'll be interesting to see where everything goes. Who knows? Maybe Colt Cabana comes out during the main event. MJF might come out. Anything could happen. So I'm really looking forward to. Right now it's probably looking at least 4.5 hours, 5 hours if you add the pre-show. So it's going to be a good one. I wish the Rampage, I wish that was a 2-hour live show, but they do the second hour. They do buy 2 hours of TV time, but they do the second hour for the countdown show, which makes sense. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. So everyone have a great night, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.